So, recently, the Ministry of Health has mentioned that COVID-19 will be moving into the endemic phase in October. With 1 month to go, you might be wondering, what even is endemic? What life change? What now? What pen? What end? Today, we look at the Rakyat's perspective of the endemic phase on today's episode of the Table Talk Podcast. Rip And welcome back. That's proof that my lungs are still working.
Okay,
welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Yeah. Welcome back. Hope you guys have been doing well. How you guys been? Jeremy, Mingyu, and our special guest. How you guys?
I'm doing good.
Wow.
Woo!
Amazing. The energy is skyrocketing today.
Jeremy, just for everyone who is joining us for the first time.
Yeah.
Jeremy's our producer showrunner.
Yeah.
And yesterday he did a subathon on Twitch.
Freaking 12 hours.
For 12? No.
13.
I finished at 17 hours and
Good
30 minutes.
Lord in heaven.
He was online streaming for 17 hours, 30 minutes. That's
17
That's
hours.
incredible.
Guys, you got to.
That was very fun. That was really a great experience.
I had the most engaging activity yesterday. I had diarrhea. So that was just, I was at the edge of my seat, man. If you know what I mean.
17 hours?
But it wasn't 17 hours. But hey, enough about me. Today we got a special guest, a very good friend of ours. As usual, who you, what you do.
What do you do, sir?
Hi guys, Renyi here. I am the co-founder of myBurgerLab. I sound a little bit tired because I am tired. It's been, a disease 1 year too long, or 1.5 years too long. So
right.
I'm very jaded. Yeah.
But hey, we've got Renyi in the house with us today.
Don't you just love the conversations that start with "I'm so jaded"?
We've known Renyi for a while now, and I think a lot of the times that we hang out together, the conversations that take place are some of my favorite conversations because they, like, I guess maybe, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of similarities between all of us, but maybe also what binds us together is that that there's always another perspective that you can take in conversations, and that's what I love about talking when I talk to Renyi and talk with Renyi. There's always an element of fun of, like, how you're doing, what you're doing. That's the casual part of it, and then there's always this thing that he does which challenges you in a conversation, whether he realizes it or not. I feel like Renyi does that in conversations, and I don't know, maybe that's why I feel I do enjoy talking to you, to Renyi. So, but anyway, we got him on today for today's podcast because we're talking about something that's not the most interesting or fun.
Right.
But more importantly, I think it's a matter of, and this is something that I think we talked about even putting together the episode. It's not a shift in what's going on now. Like, everything is still kind of the same. Things are opening up. I think the biggest shift here isn't so much the physical part, but maybe the mental part. Moving into the next stage of Coronies, right? So let's kick it off with. Do you have a question for Renyi, man? Is this? We just ask him how he's doing. Let's just start with that.
I think first off, Renyi is always a challenger. When he talks to us, when we have conversations with him, most of the time he challenges my metabolism from his food. But man, Renyi, why don't you set the stage? Why don't you share with us how the pandemic has been for you as a person, as the leader of one of the craziest local food brands? How has things been for you, man? Life, love, work, laid on the table. What's up?
All right, guys. Honestly, as I mentioned, I'm a little bit jaded and tired. I think all of us are. It's been 1.5 years since the pandemic started. And we're about, I think, 100 days to the end of 2021. And would you believe it, right? Time just flies by. So on a personal level, I think I've definitely grown a lot, trying to be more compassionate to other people, to my team, to my family, to strangers, in fact. On the business sense, I don't want to touch too much about it because, people hear too much about BurgerLab anyway. Overall, we're doing okay. We're breaking even. On some good months, we make a little bit of money. We've remodeled the business, so that's good, right? And I think even you guys, right, for your business, you have remodeled it, and all of us entrepreneurs have to make those shifts here and there. If we're here standing today, I think we have found a way to kind of live with it to some extent. The question is, for how long more, and what does the future hold? So on a personal level, love life wise, I just moved in with my girlfriend. I was just telling you guys, a lovely gal, and I think we spent a lot of time together during the pandemic, and we were forced to some extent accelerate our relationship. And to the point where 1.5 years later, we just moved in about a month ago. Everything is going great, and I can't, ask for a better companion in this part of the journey.
Oh man!
Apart from that,
sweet,
I think,
真的 sweet 哦。
other than that, I think, as a citizen of Malaysia, I'm still very confused on what's going on, what to expect. But you live life day by day.
That's true. I mean, again, instead of touching the politics, Jeremy always warns us at the start of the podcast, like, boys, don't. I know there's a lot to pick apart and rip, but we try not to. Megan, I like that you posed the question, what the smack an endemic is. It sounds like, Pokemon, the pandemic evolves with the Firestone to become endemic.
Pretty
much. What is an endemic, Megan?
The best picture we got is Reni's love life situation. His relationship with his girlfriend was a pan relationship. Now it's an end relationship. It went from the pan to the endemic situation. Endemic, pandemic. We've always had the COVID as a pandemic. Pandemic was this foreign new thing that is attacking our livelihoods. The endemic, the dictionary defines the endemic as a disease that is commonly found among people. Good Lord. The common cold, now we can just call it the common COVID. Okay?
Wow, so it's like you make it casual.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's casual COVID now.
I'm gonna be running late. I've got a cold this morning. I'm gonna be running late. I've got COVID this morning.
Yeah.
But that sounds so weird.
It just
sounds weird, right?
It's just like you made friends with a guy. Hey, this is my friend COVID. Used to try to kill all of us, but now we're cool because we got things under control. Yeah. So endemic in Malaysia, common endemics are like dengue fever malaria.
So dengue. I remember when dengue was like. I remember when dengue was a hot topic, right? When dengue was like killing people. It still does. I mean,
it still does. Yeah.
People still die from dengue, but now it's gonna be like, hey, bro, why you didn't reply my email 2 weeks? Oh, bro, I had COVID.
Yeah, my smell, my taste, all gone. Can you imagine? Haley's gonna grow up like, oh, it's just COVID, I got my shots. It's nothing. And I'm like, no, freaking, people died. A whole generation died.
People died. It's quite nuts, eh?
Yeah, I mean, but if in context, you think about it, diarrhea used to kill people, but now Mingyu has it on the fly. So like, it's all in context of how, humans and medicine have progressed, right? And we are heading into this acceptance of, COVID's not going anywhere because obviously we failed to freaking deal with it. Now we got to live with it.
Okay, so here's a quick question for all of us. Maybe we start with Renyi, right? What's the most serious or critical illness that you've had in your lifespan?
Dude, you just jinxed me.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
But the thing is, I've had none.
Like, do you go to hospital because you broke your leg or appendix or something?
No,
nothing.
Absolutely nothing. The worst thing that I've ever experienced is diarrhea. Like the worst diarrhea I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
And I felt like I was dying.
When you say that, right, I feel like you're trying to compete with me. So let's hear a bit about your diarrhea, Renyi. How bad was bad that you would say is like serious? Yeah, I don't believe you. So let's hear it.
Okay.
So I just had $1,000 meal, and they serve wine. Okay. And I didn't know I was allergic to wine, and it was something that developed recently. So imagine having 1,000 ringgit worth of a very nice meal. By the end of the night, you had to rush to the toilet. Within 2 hours of the dinner, $1,000 out.
To take $1,000 shit, literally, right? Oh my god!
Oh my goodness! And this, so you say this is something that recently developed?
Like over the last 1 year.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
It's okay.
Yeah, so
it's okay. I'll leave it at I think a series of a 7 over 10. 7 over 10.
I wouldn't even say that serious. It's just
It's
like
okay.
something.
But I felt like I was dying, and the restaurant was in KL. I had to drive all the way back to PJ with.
You're the kind of person who cannot take a shit and like different toilet.
No, I can't.
Okay. Menyu's diarrhea story first.
My diarrhea is I stopped an entire bus with my anus level. Okay, bro. Like I was like, this is like maybe back in 2010. Like a bunch of friends and we wanted to go up to Cameron Highlands, a bro trip hangout, right? And I usually don't eat breakfast in the morning. That morning, my friends were like, let's go eat at the Mamak next to the Pudu bus station because they've got really good roti in the morning. I was like, let's do it lah. So everyone ordered the roti canai, roti telur. Then I was like, I don't know what to order. Then the abang said to me, hey, you mau murtabak kambing? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Right? So I had murtabak kambing. It was so freaking good. But I think maybe it was good 2 days before when they made it lah. On the bus, right, I started to have cold sweat. I thought I was gonna die. And I swear I saw Jesus, just in front of me already. Long story short, we made the entire bus stop, right? And the craziest part was the bus driver was telling me that, we just passed the last rest station. The next two are under construction. That's that's a lie. How can the next two be under construction? So ends up we went to the one that was under construction. The toilet was still functioning, obviously. So I just rushed in and I rushed in. I saw the kakaks. They just cleaned the toilet. It smelled so clean. Right?
No.
I freaking Nagasaki the toilet. And when I came out, right, I just said sorry to the kakak. Bro, the clearance, right? Sometimes you have stomachache, right? When you pull your pants down, right, when it just passes your butt anus. Crack, right? Yeah. Then you're like, okay, safe, right? Dude, my one, I swear, if I delayed a bit, I would have shat my pants today. That was the level of my diarrhea. So I think that's a pandemic. I cannot live with that.
Look, you can win this one.
But you see, people died because of diarrhea, right? People died because of diarrhea. Yeah. Last time it's like, I got a diarrhea, I'm dead. Get my coffin ready. I'm going to take a shit into oblivion,
I mean, we've maybe the case to make that vaccination rates as bad as Malaysia is, right?
Yeah.
From the forefront of top 3 countries handling COVID. Honestly, we were so damn proud, man. Look at this now, how far we've fallen, how far the high have fallen, right? But we do have one of the highest vaccination rates globally. With right now, I think 55% of the population completely vaccinated based on COVID now, right? By October, they are expecting 75%. Herd immunity should be something that we are working towards.
Yeah.
Rennie, you have been someone who's also, and I love that you're on the podcast, right? You've been advocating getting vaccine, not just to young people, right? But to these uncle and aunties who are around your neighborhood, around you, who come to the food bank as well. What was that like? And was there resistance from these people?
I don't think resistance is the right word. I think it's fear, right? A lot of them hear all these WhatsApp stories and their friends telling them, hey, I know this guy, I know this person who got a jab and died immediately. And at the end of the day, they just needed someone to show them, hey, look, I got the jab, I have no problem.
Yeah.
And to explain to them that some of the stories that are out there, either debunk it or they didn't die of COVID because now this is to blame with the media. They love sensational news, right? Nurse who got jabbed died 24 hours later, but she died because she got hit by a car. It's nothing to do with the vaccine, right?
100% have to do with it. You get COVID, you attract cars on the road, basically.
Yes,
that's the main thing. Oh, Jeffrey, what a culture, man. I love it.
So you become Magneto once you get the jab. Crazy.
You attract
some people are more powerful than others.
Because I think people, everyone's entitled. It's going to be a bit funny lah, but there are very extreme people who don't believe in the vaccination. But the truth of the matter is, everyone's entitled to their own beliefs, 100%. But you're not entitled to your own facts. And I think that needs to be understood, The vaccinations help. They might not, again, I think everyone's expectation was the vaccination going to get rid of COVID for real, right?
Yeah.
No, man. It's like diarrhea, man. It's going to be here to stay. You're going to get COVID over dinner kind of thing. But at least if you have the vaccination, you immediately lower your risk of dying. You lower your risk of hospitalization. And as a result, you lower the strain on our poor frontliners who have been working for 1.5 years. And they can take a break. So there's a lot of good a lot of good effects already. The hospitalization rate is dropping. There are beds again. And I think in general, even if vaccinated people get COVID, the symptoms are not as...
It's not like critical
severe
level.
Yeah, not as severe.
To be honest,
that's good, man.
I've got to say, we really dropped the ball as Malaysia, they're going to be honest, right, in terms of COVID. But whoever's getting their shit together, really getting their shit together, they're going to all the different diarrhea and scooping it up into one box again. And you're like, you know what, we got it together this time. Guys, from your perspective, right, do you think life is going to change living with COVID? What, like just personally, right? I'm going to be honest with y'all. The most recent announcement, right? Cinemas can open, right? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't feel safe. I really want to go out again. I do not want to sit in a room with other strangers locked in for 3 hours.
That's so interesting that you brought that up, Minghan, because I was just like someone from a major studio company just messaged me and be like, hey, would you be keen to come and watch a movie?
The premiere, right?
Yeah, I was like, I'll think about it. Then they said, just to check, do you think Minghan would be keen? I was like, knowing Minghan, probably not, because he's got a baby, so maybe he won't.
Yeah,
but that's a good litmus paper question test, right? To ask Jeremy and Renyi, like, what are your comfort levels on that? Before we even talk about like dining in and stuff, right? Because Renyi's from that world. But let's talk about cinemas, like social activities. Jeremy, would you go and watch a movie tonight?
Yes, I will.
Jeremy is balls to the wall.
What's wrong with you?
You seem dancing like tonight. He's out for it, man. Oh my gosh.
Okay, Jeremy, let's hear it. Why?
So now, my whole family is vaccinated.
Okay, safe. That's a great step.
So just yesterday, my sister just got her first dose. So in a bit of time, I will be like, okay, because that's honestly the major concern. It was my sister. She was the one who's not vaxxed in the whole house. So I was like, that's a risk. But now she got like her first dose of Sinovac. So I think like another 14 days something she'll be having a second dose. And then tada, the whole house is. So I am now more comfortable going out in public. And I think, honestly, to be honest, I really miss the experience. Yeah, you can say watch on Disney Plus or whatever, Netflix or whatever. But to be honest,
hey, sponsor Disney. If you guys want to hit us up, let us know. Yeah, thanks. You got our numbers, cool.
Agents, we want to be in the Shang-Chi movies, please. Okay, anyway.
But I do want to support the cinemas. Like you can see, like I'm pretty sure they're suffering. Like if think of yourself not having a job for like 2 years,
they literally don't have a job.
They literally don't have a job. No business at all. No money at all. And I think that's one thing I want to do. I know they're big. You can say they're a big business. They're not a small mom and shop business, right? But think about it. It's still
money.
A lot. They still make money. Or not, you have no
for
cinemas.
Real, you know one thing is my biggest regret. MBO. MBO. Like rip MBO and shout out to if you guys are ever listening. I really, really felt like MBO was a game changer.
But GSC bought over, right?
But GSC
but MBO though,
Yeah, by MBO though. Okay. Renyi.
But yeah, that's
Would you run off tonight if I bought you tickets tonight for like Black Widow or something? Would you go and watch?
Well, I was about to say, the premiere that you rejected, you can pass it over. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Oh, so you're good to go, lah.
All right. Here's the thing. I am proud to say that I have been COVID-free since the start. Again, hopefully that's not jinxing myself. And I've been quite out there. Obviously, following SOP, I've been meeting people. I have my mask on. As you know, I've fetched random strangers to go to the vaccination center with my own car.
What a boy.
And the reason why I do it is not because I'm balls to the walls, but it's the fact that I understand the science.
Only balls to the wall people say that, Renyi. only balls to the wall people say that. But you have been going out there. You got a food bank. You've been doing work. It's because you have to, not because you want to go and fili fala everywhere. Okay, guys, he's there to work. Okay.
Well, I don't have to do the food bank, but it's something that I want to.
Yes, true.
I do know that there is a risk. However, constantly sanitizing, having a spray with me all the time. So even the uncles and the aunties that I send to the vaccination center, I spray them first.
I love it.
I spray the seat, make sure I protect them. I make them wear gloves. I make them wear fresh masks, right? And then when after they're done with their jab, they come back again, one round of spraying, and everyone is compliant, no problem.
I love it.
And I always drive to the nearest vaccination center, so the car window is always down, and it's always in the morning, so it's not too hot.
Good job.
So all these considerations are there. And so far, I've been managed to dodge it. Obviously, my girlfriend was a bit concerned, and she said, "Hey, look, you really want to be doing this?" And I'm like, as far as I understand, if you do this right, the risk is really, really low.
So
So the other thing is, I don't live with my parents. I don't have any young children.
Yeah.
So I can afford to take the risk. Obviously, it's not for everyone, right? And at the end of the day, even when it becomes an endemic, people still die from dengue, right? People still die from any other diarrhea. I'm quite sure people still die from it.
Honestly, like when you shit your intestines out, it's no joke.
It does get to that point, by the way. Some people, it gets so bad, right? That,
let's
not go into that. We'll do an episode
let's
about
not
diarrhea
go into
one day.
We'll talk about that. We'll get ready.
So what I'm trying to say is that there will be risk, and everyone just needs to, know what the risk is and take it accordingly. If you know an area has a lot of dengue mosquitoes and whatnot, you go in there, you know your risk, right? Or you avoid it. So I think at this point in time, in Selangor itself, okay, with almost 105%. So obviously they have a database of who they know needs to be vaccinated, and then more than that amount turn up. So there's 100+% of people that has been vaccinated at least the first dose. So I think Selangor KL is fairly safe. Now, let's not talk about that Sungai what?
Bro, I was just going to bring that up, but we'll say that for later.
Sungai Pisang. Okay.
Yeah, the incident where, there's no SOP followed, everyone is just jam-packed, and they have...
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So as long as SOP is followed, and I think GSC or TGV or whoever else, they want their business to stay open, and they want to follow...
So they will follow SOPs.
They will follow SOP. And on a personal level, don't give them, all the responsibility. Bring a can of sanitizer before you sit on the thing.
Just do it
yourself. Give yourself that layer of protection. What's wrong with that? Have your mask on all the time. And I'm quite sure the cinemas they would have, because us restaurants, we need to have better ventilation. I'm sure they have to install something that draws out the stale air. And there's a way to measure it using a CO2 meter. Just to measure the carbon dioxide level of that space. Yeah, so that means that there's a lot more people breathing in there. So as long as the level stays around 400-500, we're safe. So there's so many ways that you can protect yourself. And if you do that, then it's safe to go out. Then there are people who say, hey, I saw that restaurant, it's so packed and whatnot. Then you have a choice not to go to that restaurant.
Correct.
You can still go dine out, choose and pick restaurants that has really good SOP. One that I would highly recommend, Strangers at 47. They do a damn good job of it.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
I'm glad you brought it up, because there's also one of my go-tos, like that I feel actually safe to bring Haley there. Like just because I think since the first MCO, I was able to visit them, because I mean, as much as we can, we try to buy from all you guys like routinely, right? Like just try to order as much as possible. But yeah, some people actually do a lot of SOPs, right? As you said. And like you said, like if you know how to deal with it, it's like dengue lah. Like, got dengue outbreak there, not like you go and jog in the park and roller skate there, right? You will of course evade that place and like go somewhere else. But isn't that crazy to think? We've had to change our perspective from this thing is gonna freaking kill me to be like, oh well, I guess this guy next to me got COVID. I'm just gonna shrug it off and like hopefully he goes to the hospital, right? That perspective, like, because I've been reading up, like I think we mentioned it before as well. Last time when it was the French flu, the French fly flu, when it was the Spanish French flu.
It's the Spanish flu.
The Spanish French.
There's no French. There's zero French.
The French fries, Spanish fly. Yeah. People, what was very interesting was, because I like to read the social reports around it, right? People didn't really get back into the normal practice of society for at least 2 years, at least 2 years. And they were talking about a global pandemic, right? And when you mentioned about, wow, we got to have the spray ready, we got to have the mask ready, the sanitizer ready. Hey, let's be honest lah. Even when it was a pandemic and we're not vaccinated, people don't even care about it. Because some people are freaking wearing the mask on their neck, bro.
Correct.
Who got gills? I want to understand. Like, some people wear on the chin lah, or the neck lah, dengue on the ear. I'm like, astaghfirullah, no wonder lah, natural selection happens.
But you have to understand, at that time, why people behaved that way is because death was not so close to home.
That's also true.
Correct. And I think a lot has developed since MCO 1 and MCO 2.
Right.
And I think people were more fearful, are more fearful, I think past February, March, when shit hits the fan, pardon the pun. And I think it's a progression. But to be honest, I'm also amazed at what modern medicine has been able to do for us. In a short 1 year.
To rush a vaccine.
Rush a vaccine out, to approve it. I know they did skip some steps because, it
was based on an urgency lah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And we can go out right now safely because of the vaccine. Although some people online are speaking as if there is no vaccine, and they keep saying, hey, restaurants should continue to stay shut down, don't open up the cinemas. These people probably have the benefit of working from home and still receiving salary. But a lot of people don't have that luxury.
Yeah, people can't balance the economic need, right? But excuse me, but real deal, guys. what do you think? Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, even without the vaccination, even without all this hope or like endemic or whatnot, Malaysians, Malaysians are lax, right? We try our best, to just make do with whatever. And sometimes some people don't even care. Do you think, right? Do you think when the government announces something like this is going to be normal, they announce stuff like the vaccinations actually help your safety, do you think people are all just going to be so comfortable again? Everyone's just going to take a shit on everything and basically just go out there, mask out, jogs all up again. What do you think the response is going to be? I mean,
I think that you can already see it in this past month already. Like cars are filling up the road. Yesterday was Malaysia Day, it's a public holiday at the time of recording, right? And I went out for a grocery run and I saw so many families out with kids, and that alarmed me a little bit because I'm like, okay, I understand if you're like parents, you're vaccinated, but the kids don't have vaccines yet, right? And also I think like what Rennie mentioned just now, was it Sungai Pisang? Right?
What's this Sungai Pisang thing?
Basically, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but
you didn't see?
I don't know how you missed this, Mingan, but it was all over social media, right? That it was on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, every freaking piece of platform, right?
Is it the auntie whacking the pole and asking people to line up?
No.
I show you. I send you now.
How do you? I'm surprised. So basically, what it was over this past weekend, when after they announced that things can start to open up, families upon families upon families.
Oh, they all went to the waterfall.
Was seen at this Sungai Pisang, where literally they would dip their pisangs in the sungai. and I think what's crazy about that was that there were people who were trying to justify the situation. They're like, oh, even though people are all coming out, people are still observing SOPs, distancing themselves from other families. I'm like, yeah, I get some of that, but let's be real lah, huh? You're in the water, that shit's going in your mouth. Don't even talk about the pandemic. People's urine and shit, cebisan is gonna play water, splash me,
I'm done.
That was so done. That was the first thing in my mind. I'm like,
that's how you die of diarrhea.
Yes.
Yeah, correct, bro. I can promise you, a lot of people had diarrhea after that day.
And then someone took the after photos of the aftermath and the trash everywhere.
Trash everywhere.
You know why? You know what? After I saw that, I was like, we deserve COVID. We
deserve it. Seriously.
COVID. God damn it.
Honestly,
if we treat the world like this, if we treat nature like this, no wonder nature's like, we gotta throw a big one at them guys.
It's just like, hey, I'm coming for you. But no, so I think to answer the question that you posed, right, I think there's a couple of factors, right? There's on one side there's the economy that needs to open up again. I think Rennie can speak a bit more about this, about the F&B industry and just general how people are eating, right? At home and now hopefully moving back into restaurants. But then there's the social economy side of it, which is the cinema, it's the, can you survive without this, right? And then there's things like this, going to the park, picnics, dipping your bananas in the river, right? How do you deal with stuff like that? Because yes, it's great to start living, with the disease, but this is on a level that is almost stupid, I would say.
But you guys have to understand that it is only temporary. I mean, we hear the term revenge spending, revenge holiday, revenge everything, right? In the last 1 year. And
it's correct.
The thing is, everyone feels they are special. And the moment the barriers are lifted, everyone wants to go out. And I don't blame them. Honestly, at this point in time, I don't blame anyone. Better choices, right? If you see that Sungai Pisang has a lot of pisang, then you go to Sungai Papaya or something like that.
Go somewhere with less pisang, right?
I'm not going to double dip my own pisang in all the pisang sauce, man. Please, man.
It's like pisang broth, man. Shit.
I mean, even if it wasn't COVID, I won't be jumping in there. Just be honest, okay?
Man. Dick soup,
gosh. Sorry, anyway.
Sorry.
But this is the new norm, right? This is the new norm. Personal life, I mean, I personally would say people with families, people with elderly parents are definitely in a different risk class, okay? I know I would, I mean, our work revolves around being social sometimes, right? Our work revolves around people. Our work revolves around going out and making things happen, right? But do I risk it and potentially bring home a new set of germs to my 2-year-old kid who has no vaccination every day? I'll be very honest with you. I have no idea. Not until I know that there's a vaccine for her. Because I've been hearing, even though I'm not a WhatsApp auntie or WhatsApp uncle, the stories are still scary. There's a new thing also going around talking about like kids losing their abilities in their legs when it comes to like the new strain. And I'm like, yo, that's not COVID, yo. What's that? And I'm like, no, people like the kids.
Oh, that's next level.
The kids, the legs are just like giving up and like they can't walk. And I'm like,
is this real or what?
I don't know. I didn't go look into it because it sounded bogus. But it's gonna be at the back of my head. Like Hailey loves jumping. And one day in my head, like she's like, Papa, my legs. No, I can't. I can't think about that, you know.
That's mad, dude.
I'm not going to think
freaking
about
out. So
yeah, you know.
But Meng Han, here's the thing. I don't think that, and I said from your point of view as a parent, as a father, you know, the fear of your responsibility over your child to take care of her so that, you know, she grows up healthy and whatnot. But it is stories like that stops you from, to some extent, living, and stops Hailey from living. Now, hear me out. I've spoken to a few doctor friends, and I asked them about their opinion on getting whether the teenagers jabbed or even the youngest, the young kids jabbed, right? And honestly, most of the doctors' advice is you don't have to, because statistics has shown that even if they get COVID, the severity is not that they just don't get as
the intensity.
As ill.
Yes.
And right now, because there's not been enough valid data to say whether there is a long-term effect on children or not. So their advice is, why not wait it out a little bit more?
100%. Yes. I'm of that mindset. Like I'm not in a rush. I'm really not in a rush. We're doing all that we can to make sure Hailey lives her full life, right? But I'm not going to lie. As much as I don't believe the Papa, my legs not work stories, of course it's a bit like, yo,
that's crazy.
Like, for real. I heard some mad stories because, you know, parents are very paranoid, right? A lot of parents are very paranoid. And it doesn't help that some of the parents have even more paranoid parents, right? So I'm just going to say that, I do think that personalized 100% is going to be affected still. But let's move on. Let's move on to business and work. So obviously, if you guys know Rennie runs BurgerLab. Mingyu and I and Jeremy are all in a studio team. Both these industries have honestly taken the hardest beating, like, to date, right? The F&B industry, obviously, the SOPs are, you know, anyone's guess lah. They said something, then people come to your store, don't know any SOP and follow their own feeling. And the production industry, what is SOP actually? SOP is just an option for the production industry at this point. You know, no one's taking it seriously. Do you think businesses and careers are going to have a positive effect from this in terms of like hygiene and you know, conditioning, how we fit people into the shop and stuff? Like, what do your guys take? What do you think work is going to be like? Especially for those who now realize that I can work from home and it's just as productive.
Like inshallah, like these things, like it really helps open up, right? Just the entire economy. I think we should answer first before Rennie answers, because Rennie's answer is probably going to be the most like take your time answering it, because I feel our listeners would benefit a lot understanding what it takes on your end.
I can see Rennie turning red. He's getting
ready for them.
He's getting ready.
But also for them to do their part lah. Okay, so for us, I think blank slate, right? We do a lot of production work. We do a lot of like, you know, marketing and on ground stuff. In the past year, this past year even, a lot of our work has had to be done from home. So like Ming said, you know, realizing that a lot of work that you do can be done from home, that's great. But there are still lots of shoots that is difficult to do from home, right? When you do that, of course, you know, we've had great clients and partners who understand that you can only do whatever you can from home, right? So what that has meant for me is that I've had to take a bunch of equipment from the studio, like lights and C-stands and tripods, and set them up in my guest room. And so that my guest room is now a studio to take pictures and stuff in, right? And so that's like the nature of what we can do. Of course, you know, when it comes to bigger scale videos and stuff like that, it's difficult, and of course, you know, you can't do that during the whole lockdown situation. But now with things opening up, there is very frustrating SOPs in place, but I guess they're in place to ensure your safety, right? And even for that, so this, like, we've had a conversation this past week about saying no to doing a bunch of projects that would require us to kind of like move out and about and get permission to shoot, because it's still a bit difficult for a lot of talents and brands. So on our side, we are doing what we can, and we are still figuring out how much of this sort of like new SOPs makes sense for people to come up, because people are still feeling a bit antsy, and that's fine, right? Because if you don't feel safe, there's nothing I can do to force you to come out. So that's fine. Now, let's pass the ball over to Renyi, right?
Oh, here we go, boys.
Doing his best. Like, you guys have been doing so much to prepare. I mean, you talked about Strangers at 47, but I mean, maybe for BurgerLab and yourself as a business owner, what have you guys done to get ready, I guess, to have people come in again? And what can people do to help you help them?
Well, this is a really tricky topic, but let me put out some disclaimer first.
All right.
I don't think F&B is the worst hit industry. We do make a lot of noise, that's for sure. I think that's because, you know, every corner you turn, there is a restaurant. I think we are the biggest industry out there, small individual owners industry out there. However, my heart really goes out to, you know, industry like you guys, where when there's a shutdown, you absolutely cannot work.
Yeah.
Although I suspect that some people still do, and they just get away with, this ad was shot before COVID times.
Let's be honest. Yeah, you know.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm not going to say much about that. I don't want to get burned, but yeah.
But that being said, so we've been allowed to operate, although there's no dine-in, and we make noise about it. And I've been called out recently to say, hey, BurgerLab, during the lockdown, when you guys had no dine-in, you kept saying, hey, look, we want dine-in. Okay, now that dine-in is available, how come you guys are not open for dine-in yet? Now, there's a lot of things to decide and to, you know, ponder over before we operate. Number one is the SOP. Number two is, will there be a government change? At this point in time, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But when Muhyiddin was stepping down and he rolled out a bunch of SOP, and at the time we don't know who else was going to come in. So those were things that were uncertainty, and we just had to, you know what, lay low and figure out how to prepare for dining. Now, to this day, BurgerLab is not open for dining yet, simply because we're understaffed. We have quite a lot of people who still want to do takeaway and delivery. And if I open for dine-in, I practically need another team to take care of the customer. Otherwise, they're distracted.
Yep.
So that being said, that's our problem at the moment. I think if we want to talk about, you know, other industries as a whole, or you know, the economy as a whole, things need to open up. They need to open up. Proper SOP needs to be clear. But I think it's good that the new government is addressing it. I think yesterday I saw a new article that says that there is 110 SOPs out there right now, and they want to shrink it down to 10.
Yep.
Now, again, will that work? I think 10 is a little bit too little, but we all have our own opinion. But if there is better guideline, there is better SOPs, we can fall in line. Because it's not the SOP that's the problem. For us business owner, we fear the enforcement. When you have SOPs that can be interpreted in, you know, 10,000 ways, and you have enforcers coming down, the police coming down, hey, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, I'm going to fine you 5,000 ringgit, 10,000 ringgit, 15,000 ringgit. When it's already hard to make money, that's where a lot of the stress comes in. So a lot of business owners prefer to, you know what, just keep on the lay low and you know, break even, and that's fine, and then ride this out until things smoothen. And I think that's what it takes. I think we live in a world where we are so we want instant gratification, to the point where in a time of a pandemic or even endemic, we want results fast. Hey, tell us the SOP now so that we can behave accordingly. I think it takes time. It's just that unfortunately, we live in a time where the governance is questionable to some extent. I'll leave it at that, right? And that's why.
So good.
And that's why for business owners, I think everyone wants to get out there and work, put people back to work. It's just one step at a time. Now, as for work from home, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Not because my team doesn't do well working from home, but I've had new hires and high-level management new hires that has been with us for at least 2-3 months that have not met the rest of the team. How do you run a business like that? Right? So we need to get the people together, maybe, you know, 2 to 3 times a week, and have proper meetings. But right now, I'm not sure what the SOP is in terms of coming back to the office. I don't think that's a hard and fast rule at the moment. So we're avoiding that as much as we can. And I also heard that there is a mandatory once a week swab test that needs to be done as well. And that costs money. Even though if it's only 19 ringgit, it still costs money. Again, all this consideration is what is stopping us from really opening up fully.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on this.
Man.
Okay, wait. I have a quick question to ask all of you because I'm coming in as an employee, right? All 3 of you are managerial positions, I would say, who manage a company. So my question is, what do you think of for example, having a mentality? Okay, so you mentioned just now that work from home might be a great option. It can work, or Minghan as well said that as well. But some people can be very productive.
Oh yeah.
But then you have Rennie here who says that people really cannot take. He doesn't like work from home. He hates it because cannot meet the rest of the team. So do you think that in the future, I'm pretty sure there is. I'm not surprised. But in the future, a balance of maybe like 4 days work from home and then like 3 days work from home and then 2 days, in the office. What do you think that kind of like style would be like in the future, if that might be a thing?
It depends on the industry, right?
Technically, if you're a pilot, you can't work from home, lah. Just say that, right? I don't think I feel comfortable with a pilot remote controlling his plane, right? But you're right. It depends on your industry. It depends on your role, very specifically your role, and depends on what you are required to do. Your expectations of your role most of the time, right? I do think that I've found a very new appreciation, because even before this, Brian, Mingyu, and myself, we were messing around with like, hey, why don't we change to 4 work days, 3 weekend days,
which we did try for
a while, but we ran into some bumps here because of course everyone's very, very used to a 5-day work day, right? But I have found different productivity levels during the MCO for different things. Like, I do think managerial positions require you to be in person. Like, I think on like meetings person to person, you need to be there. Like, to run teams and to check up on things, the easiest way is in person. But if I'm switching back to my creative role, I want to be alone. Like, my creative role has been the absolute trash role because of managerial stuff. Because when you need to talk to people and people need to talk to you, there's a constant logistics that need to be upkept, right? There's a constant dynamic that needs to be fed into managing different projects. But if I was home alone and I have quadrant of the day to work by myself, that's when I'm the most productive in terms of like thinking about new ideas, about creating stuff. That undisturbed alone time is a very different kind of space, which I definitely, I have dropped like messages to Mingyu and Brian about it, that, hey, this kind of works, I don't know why it works. And then I remember that last time when we were like a team of 5, that's when it worked, because we didn't have that many people to attend to, and we were just quiet together for like 9 hours in a row, right? So I do think it's very heavily reliant on, number one, your role and your industry. But unfortunately, I also think it will be dependent on the company that you're in and their culture. So a lot of traditional companies, they don't care, man. You clock in, you come in 9 to 6. I want to see your face. And
I'm recording.
Sorry. Got people walk into Jeremy's room. I'm recording.
Sorry,
I love it. But yeah, it depends on your company culture. If you're in a traditional company and they require you to clock in, well, too bad for you. And that's what I think. What do you guys think?
You?
Wait, man.
I thought I already talked about my opinion on that. Honestly, it depends on the individual company.
Yeah.
I do want to give my team the option to work from home, although I'm really not sure how to go about that. Why I like about meeting them face to face, actually, it's the camaraderie. Going to lunch together. I know that's going to be difficult moving forward, right? Or in this current time, or just having our morning meetings. And sometimes I just need things done. I can be like, hey, you and you come in. I need to talk to this 2 person to coordinate certain things. Rather than, hey guys, you ready for a Zoom call? And it's like a 20 minutes thing before we actually hop on a call. So I personally don't like that. Are we a creative company? For the most part, no. We sell burgers. So there's not a lot of creative thinking, and I think work can be done despite being in the office. However, I don't like the fact that there is all these articles out there trying to promote that working from home is the next new norm. Because I really don't think they should be encouraging it. For the companies that have tried it, that works for them, please go ahead. But they shouldn't say, hey, look, this is expected. Because there's some of the stuff they don't know, they don't understand, and all they say is, hey, how come these companies can do it and you can't, right? Not that my staff have done that, but I'm just afraid that people trying to apply it without context would end up, jeopardizing the flow of the business or how things are run. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I think for me, in our team, I handle the people. Right, I handle the account leaders, the project managers, the campaign heads, and all these people require other people to touch base with. And I guess what I've noticed is that yes, it's great being online. You can drag people here and there, but I also make it a thing that people have to be online. Like, I need to see your face, like, in that Discord channel. If not, how am I going to get you, right? Like, and that was, like Renee said, that was the easy thing about being in the physical space together, that I know that Jeremy and Sophia and Desmond, like, you guys just finished lunch, you're chilling, let's jump in for a quick 3-minute briefing before the next call, right? Then, if everyone's working, like, in silos individually at home, and I don't have that communication with you, then it's harder because I have to go through levels of like, hey, are you there? You don't reply. I call you, you don't pick up. Then it's like that creates a delay in communication. So I think it depends on the nature of the business, but also the nature of your role. Because I understand that some people who may be crunching numbers, right, and working with Excel sheets the entire day, they are more productive at home because there's less distraction. There's less people who are getting up in their grill, and they technically don't need to report to anybody until the task is done. For our nature of work, maybe for people even like Jeremy, like there are moments where Jeremy is like, guys, I'm going to mute myself, I'm going to go off. I need to edit this and get it done, right? But then there are also moments where he'll be like, Minyu, there's some, we need to jump onto a discussion to talk about something. And I feel like, if anything, Blank Slate has been, I'm very proud to say that we've been able to keep that working communication alive and healthy this past year. Just being online on Discord to make sure everyone's like kind of like online and synced together. I agree with what Renee said about how this new age articles and stuff are like saying that the work from home is the new way forward, or these 4-day work days are most efficient. There are companies who implement that and it works. And if it works for you, then congratulations, keep that up. But I don't think you can use that as a blanket statement or a case to be made for everyone, because it doesn't work like that. And at the end of the day, it really boils down to what you're trying to achieve, lah.
Can I ask you two, Minyu and Ming Han, as bosses, and you're renting, a physical space, you're paying rent, right? How does that work, right? If people want to work from home, do you want to downsize to a smaller office? Because the space is being paid for no matter what. Right? How does that work out for you?
Great question. Because right before the MCO happened, we freaking actually got another place on top of our place,
Oh no.
So we signed 3 months.
It was actually...
we signed 2 years, we paid 3 months.
Yeah, it was actually a very swift... And I'm very glad we took the choice to cut it off immediately, even though the deposit was like burned halfway or something like that, right? But at the end of the day, we are still investing into space, whether we like it or not. As a production company and as an agency, space to keep and space to create a safe space to create stuff within a confines of a studio is very important, right? We did bite the bullet. Thank God we have a very chillax landlord, okay? Chillax to the point where sometimes he literally forgets to collect rent from us. He's pretty cool.
For like 4 months.
Yeah. I
love him so much.
He forgets it to a point where the building people will be like, your landlord haven't paid us rent, huh? Wait, and we're like, huh? Like, okay, we'll let him know, hold on, So I do think that we did a very, very quick choice. We actually downsized insanely a lot before MCO, right? Because we were supposed to expand, we cut it off. We revamped the studio, and we built the studio in mind with, we are going to expand the team. So technically, if the full team now will work to go back into the studio, right, it'd be too damn full. It'd be really too damn full. We downsized to a part where we only want to prioritize like the editors. We want to prioritize the people who need to be in studio all the time, in case. And this was MCO1 before it went to shit, right? So technically we did bite the bullet lah. We are still renting a space because I feel that it will be a lot of trouble, like undoing all of this, more trouble than keeping up with it. I mean, what do you think about our space? Do you think we're going to continue building this? Like, I feel like if things go back to normal, we might need to expand again. Like that's the
probably,
conundrum.
I mean, with the idea of the endemic, right? Like becoming a norm, like just kind of like coming to grips with fear, and also maybe just that courage to move on into what this new season of life is looking like. And I guess maybe this is where we can start wrapping up, right? I think that it's worth considering these plans again, because if we're looking at COVID as becoming the dengue fever of the 2023 year onwards, right? We need to figure out what the initial plan was and where we are today. Of course, like Randy said, we had to change a lot the business of how we run business, how we do things today. And maybe that's also something to consider, because if we realize that maybe some of these guys, some of the people, some of the team work better at home and they don't need to be in the studio space, that's fine. I don't think we need to do that. But of course, every once in a while, there's going to be a big town hall or someone's birthday and everyone comes together and then, oh wow, cluster number 4, right?
Yep.
There's so much to consider, and I think that it's okay not having the answers now. I think just like the children, right? You want to wait out before you make any big decisions.
Yeah.
Even in the next 2 years, to be honest. So like just as how like you're maybe thinking about whether you want to send your kids into physical school next year, to just wait out and see what things are going to play out to be. I think businesses need to maybe adopt that mindset, but not to do it and wait for an ultimatum answer. Nobody's gonna issue like a statement and be like, this is how things are gonna work. No, like look at Strangers, right? Strangers at 47, they didn't wait for like the government to come and be like, okay, do this and this and this. These guys, they did it on their own, and then people use that as like, this is the gold standard. Everyone needs to follow this. And I think if you're an entrepreneur, if you are someone who wants to see yourself succeed, right, that is the differentiation in mindset between waiting for a proper SOP guide to come up and doing something with the limited resources and knowledge that is available to you. I think Rennie can wrap this up. I mean, Rennie, what do you think about that?
If you're playing for more space, Rennie, I mean, if you want to share a warehouse, so we can make a kitchen studio together, we provide all your content and you just cook lunch for us and dinner where we need to have like, big bag. Like, why not? No one's ever done it in Malaysia, right? A creative team and F&B in one place. So, I mean, why not? Anyway, what do you think?
Well, number one, I don't dare put us on the world stage and say, hey, look, let's compare to other countries. Malaysia is fairly unique to how we react to things. Number one, we have a very forgetful country.
Yeah.
We have to remember that we have a very forgetful country, meaning that people can revert to their old ways very fast. Very fast. But of course, I believe that the mask wearing, the sanitization will still be a thing. That won't go away so soon, and I think that's important. But in terms of economy, as long as people are allowed to, they will go for it. Whether it's traveling, whether it is going to cinema, dining in, people will go for it. And the other thing is that we also live in a generation where there is something called the FOMO effect, right? As much as people are saying, hey, don't go out. But once you start looking at your Facebook and your Instagram and you see your friends enjoying their life, tell me you're not.
I also go out.
Tell me you're not going to be tempted and say, you know what, I'm going to go out this one time. And honestly, I don't know if you guys have dined out yet. I haven't dined out in a long time, but 2 weeks ago I went to Grub. You guys are familiar with Hong Kong Grub, right? And I've tapped out his food before at home and I thought, okay, not bad, I heat it up, this and that. But when you eat fresh food cooked from the restaurant, that guy that drank the, I don't know, teh tarik, and he cried.
Oh, and he cried.
I had the same experience with my steak. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And once you get that taste, you want to keep having more of that. And to be honest, after that first steak that I had, I've been out another two or three more times. But of course, in a very selective, places. But that is what's going to happen. As much as we want to be safe, we also want to enjoy life. I think we Malaysians are a bunch that knows our food, that loves our food, that wants to go on holiday, that wants to enjoy the better things in life. And we've been suffering for quite a while. And, people want to come out. So the Sungai Pisang people, we're coming back to them. I do not blame them. Did they make bad choices? Probably. But again, the urge is there. And this is due to questionable governance that caused people to be cooped up for too long. And now they just want out. So it's a price we have to pay. But the desire to be out is there. And I think 2022 will be a year to thrive. I honestly believe that.
So everyone, moving forward, man. Again, before we end the episode, everyone moving forward, I think the best thing we can take away from today's episode is, if SOPs fail, use your brains, guys. Okay, it's basic survival instinct at this point, right? If it's dangerous, don't go. Got a hole, don't walk. Got things falling down, don't stand under. Got medicine, take medicine. That kind of thing, right? It's like 1 + 1 = 5, guys. Please, you can just go there, show up, and do what you need to do. Go back. The advice for everyone going into COVID-19 as an endemic right now is, guys, don't let your guard down. Please, it's still a danger to those who are susceptible to it. Okay, it doesn't mean that you're safe, everyone is safe. It doesn't mean that you feel it's safe to go, everyone should be going as well. Like Ronnie succinctly wrapped it up. Sungai Pisang, one Pisang wanted to go is fine. Every Pisang wanted to go is their own right. But after that, they never clean up with what they did there, guys. That's what makes the difference, right? It's being not just conscious towards your own rights and your own safety. It's also being conscious to everyone's rights and everyone's safety. Your rights don't override someone else's. You're not more important than anyone else's life.
Well said.
Yeah, I mean, your pisang not more important than someone else's pisang.
Your pisang is not pisang emas, huh?
Yeah. But it can be longer,
okay,
no problem.
Before we run the deep end, Mio, what's the song recommendation for this week?
This week's song of the week is a song written by two of my very good friends in Singapore, by Zari and Charlie Lim. This one's called Breathing City, and I think it's such a great reminder for us to remember that everything that you're doing today is actually part of a community, right? So if you're wondering of whether you're actually helping, just listen to this and be reminded that you are. So that's Breathing City. I love this song so much.
Love it.
But if you guys want to get caught up with all the latest podcast episodes, check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can find us at Tabletop Podcast or on YouTube at The Takeaway Table. Please. And hopefully you will also be able to see Rennie a little bit more in some of the content that's coming up and rolling out in the next few months. If you guys want to get caught up with all the shenanigans that happens on the Discord community as well, we are available on Discord. Like I said, discord.gg/The Takeaway Table. That's discord.gg/The Takeaway Table, and that is it's a wild ride there. So if you're bored at home and want to make new friends, that's the best place to hang out. So we're there. But other than that, thank you so much, Rennie, for being on the podcast today with us. I love today's episode. There's so much insight, many things that we can kind of pre-prepare. That's not even preparing, it's preparing ourselves before we start venturing out and being a bit more sociable in the endemic stage of life. But thank you so much, Rennie, for spending your afternoon with us.
It's been a pleasure.
Guys,
let us know, guys. Tag us if you guys see in the future a warehouse of BurgerLab TMT or Rennie TMT. I mean, come on. Let's make it happen, guys.
We're gonna send us off with some words of sweet wisdom, Jeremy.
Well, I guess honestly, it's the one thing I took away from the whole episode was it's all on your own pace.
Yep.
Pace.
Kita jaga kita.
On my own pace.
Pace.
Good Lord. I heard all my own pace.
Kita jaga kita.
It's kita jaga
That's
kita.
the first one. Yeah, we take care of each other, and also everyone has their own pace.
Yep.
You're on your own journey.
You're also responsible.
So you're also be responsible. So if you feel like you want to go out, no one's going to stop you. You can head out to dine in if you wanted to. If you have the proper vaccination, fully vaccination, and all those kind of stuff. But you also have to be mindful of other people. Correct. Don't go and next to the person who's dining in next to you.
One more time.
I love that. Thanks, Jeremy.
Okay, sorry.
Thanks, everybody. We will see you guys in the next episode of the podcast. Until then, stay safe and take care. Kisses and a big hug from all of us to you.
Please. See you guys.